Wrapping up Crossbow Appreciation Month here. I'm shooting all these videos before I go to work, so you have to bear with me. At least I got the iced coffee, though. The Death by Bungie rollout on this beautiful crossbow has been a slow one here. I've actually pulled this together. Didn't even think of buying this crossbow, the Ravin R29X, until pretty late in Crossbow Appreciation Month, believe it or not. Why'd you go Ravin instead of looking at TenPoints for this year's addition to the Death by Bungie Crossbow Army, or whatever we're going to call that? Had some great suggestions. So let's talk about a few reasons why this year in 2024 I chose Ravin over TenPoint. Both of these crossbow companies, really they make some great stuff. They are the industry leaders, so to speak. They're the high-end, the most expensive crossbows anyway. Isn't that a fact? They're also the producers of the fastest crossbows on the market. And when we look at crossbow technology, I've said this over and over, we're looking at smaller, faster, lighter, denser, cheaper. We want smaller crossbows. We want faster crossbows. We want smaller, faster, lighter crossbows, right? We want denser crossbows. That means they have more features, right? Like this crossbow, for example, the R29X, does have, when we talk about dense features, it has decocking, right? That didn't used to exist on crossbows. Only improvements in crossbow technology, only competition amongst manufacturers of crossbows has given us the ability to decock crossbows. That's a great addition, a great feature to have. It has a nice silent safety. That's an improvement over older crossbows. It shoots 450 feet per second. That is denser. That means it is an improvement. It has features that other crossbows don't have. When we talk about that kind of technology, the scope is a perfect example of that. It has a lot of features. You can see I've added the Oracle X. Was there really any doubt? Ravin and TenPoint both produce crossbows that are smaller, faster, lighter, denser, and cheaper, right? That they are moving crossbow technology forward. This year in 2024, however, one of the reasons I looked at this crossbow, remember that video I did where I was looking at the Bass Pro Shops catalog? I made a fun video. I really enjoyed making that little video, looking through there and commenting on different crossbows and seeing what's new for this year, according to Bass Pro Shops at least, right? I saw the R29X on sale for $17.99. That is not a deal you can pass up. It got my eye. It's like $1,000 off, right? I think they're making room for the new R50X or whatever, the 500 feet per second crossbow. That really got me thinking. It got me talking to friends of Bungie who use Ravens, who I've talked to over the years, and it really gave me some incentive, some confidence in going forward to get a Ravin, to finally take that plunge and get into the Ravin business, right? So there we go. When we look at comparable TenPoints, though, we don't see anything in that price point. Now, again, this is on sale, right? That's usually a $25, $26, $2,800 crossbow package or whatever, what have you. But when we look at TenPoint, we have like the TX440 that was running like $24.99. No complaints about that crossbow, but you're adding $700 over the price of this. That's essentially the price of the Burris Oracle X that I put on the R29X. TenPoint does have a 450 feet per second crossbow, the Stealth 450. So again, we're hundreds of dollars more for that crossbow. The Flatline 460, I really like the Flatline 460. I did a review of that this spring, and that is a sweet crossbow. A friend of Bungie also offered me a deal on that crossbow specifically that would have been close in price, maybe even better in price for that crossbow. I really like that crossbow. I do. A lot of things about the Flatline 460. However, here's my second reason for going with the Ravin R29X, and that is tried, true, and tested. This crossbow has been around now for 3 years, this model, right? The R29's been around for a long, long time, but this one, they upped the speed a little bit, added some features, what have you, different sort of cranking system, silent cranking and all that stuff. But the nice thing about this crossbow is it's been around for 3 years. So we kind of know it's a known commodity. Tried, true, and tested is a big deal here on Death by Bungie. I really prefer tried, true, and tested over the latest and greatest, right? I took a risk with the Burris Oracle X. Remember that last year or the year before, whenever that was? But I really struggled to get these things to work, but I was committed to doing it. And now these are becoming tried, true, and tested. They're going to work great on this crossbow, I bet. That Flatline 460 from TenPoint just came out this year. It is not tried, true, and tested. We look back at the 505, right? The 515. Those are not tried, true, and tested. They're brand new crossbows pretty much. That 500 feet per second range, that ultra modern speed is not tried, true, and tested in my eyes. So I'm going to kind of hold off on that until it, give it a year or two, then we'll get into the 500s maybe, right? We'll do that here on Death by Bungie. And at that time, it might be a TenPoint that I end up going with. We'll see, right? We shall see. But TenPoint kind of proves my point. Remember, the 505 came out, reviewed that crossbow, really cool crossbow. Then the next year, they have these scope struts, these mounts that are on there to stabilize the scope mount so that it doesn't wiggle loose, apparently, with the heavier scopes like the Burris Oracle X. It can't retrofit them. That's not tried, true, and tested. They put it out, they had to fix stuff, they had to change it a little bit to get it to work, and they hear back from consumers that say, look, this doesn't work, so they had to make some changes to it. And you can't retrofit it. That's no good. I mean, if I had a 505 and it's not working with my Burris Oracle X, because there's too much play in that scope rail or something like that, and I can't retrofit it, I'd be a little upset if I spent that kind of money. So, not going with the latest and greatest from TenPoint, right? I want a tried, true, and tested model. Another reason why I went with Ravin this year is because I am getting a bow press. That is something I want to get into, being able to change my own strings and cables, play around with that stuff. Did a little bit of that with the Scorpion, didn't we? And I've changed the strings and cables on the SWAT X1, did a video about that, why you need to do that with the older style, switch to the newer style strings and cables. This one looks very similar. I think I can tackle this, okay? It's a pretty simple layout, and if I get a press here that I've got on order that's coming in the mail this week, I'll be able to stick this in there and I should be able to change the strings and play around with that stuff myself. The TenPoints, on the other hand, are a little intimidating, at least for me. There's an extra set of cables, right? There's a lot going on the TenPoint. I figure once I get good with the Ravin and the Killer Instinct and maybe some other crossbows, something like that, then we'll be ready to tackle TenPoint and a press maybe. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that answers some of your questions. This is the year of the Ravin. Let's make the best of it and see how we make out. Until next time, all hail Bungie.